Yes, people, welcome to NAF. Sorry for the lateness, but lateness is greatness, you know. Few heads are just moving late. It is what it is. And obviously there's 2 new arrivals as well in terms of Fam Zone TV. We got the mighty Sava, who was just on with us the other day. If people didn't see, we had the charity stream for obviously Patrick, who's now got 24k raised. So big up to him as well every single time. Make sure you smash the likes on the way in. Make sure you subscribe, and also the channels are all going to be put in a pinned chat as well, so you can have a little gander at that, and it might suit your fancy. How are you boys, the on timers?
Can't complain, bruv. Can't complain. All good, healthy. Can't moan.
Yeah,
you get me.
All right, man. Yeah, listen, no Spurs international break, so it's good. It's there's nothing to well, I say there's nothing to complain about. I'm sure we will. So yeah, all good, man.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. We're gonna have a little debate today about this Liverpool easy Premier League title. We actually had a good debate about that the other day as well, and then I see Monts actually have a debate about that yesterday, and I was like, oh, you dived into something quite decent there, because that's actually been the consensus around some chat. So is it an easy Premier League title? It looks like Chelsea are actually going to cut Sancho's loan short, even though it's an obligation. Might be cheaper for them in the in the long run, since you don't have to pay mega wages or whatever. Even though he said he's going to agree to pay cut. And then obviously Camavinga apparently allegedly has come from 2 Spanish sources now that he's open to a Man City move, since his he might not have a future at Madrid. Potentially they might see somebody else that might see fit, which is I don't even want to think about it. I don't want to think about how they might have Rodri, Camavinga, and then also Nico Gonzalez. Like, it's like you're not allowed that option. I'm sorry, you're just not allowed. That's actually sickening. It's like
I don't want to hear that. Don't want to hear it.
It's like playing career mode with these lots sometimes when the names that pop up, because he's not the only name. Wirtz is another name that keeps popping up over and over again. Wirtz. Imagine they get Camavinga and anyways, we'll talk about it. Yeah, Sava, how we doing, man?
All good, bro. All good. Yeah, I did wake up this morning, had a look to see if we were linked to anyone. I can't find anything of note at the moment, but I'll be honest. The only thing I look for now with the transfer news is for a new manager. So I don't know, man. I don't know. That's where
I saw something with you, like you might be selling Brendan Rodgers back. I saw, maybe. I don't know if there's somebody else there as well. Who else? Because usually there's that website. What's that thing? Spurs, last word on the Spurs, or is it Spurs web, the coverage stuff and blah blah blah? I see. Actually, that's it. Nori.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, that was the one I saw today. And do you know what? In one of my Spurs groups, someone said, "What are you thinking about Nori?" And I said, "I really like him as a player, just not with this manager. Like, this manager will completely ruin everything that he's about, and he'll turn him into an inverted midfielder." So listen, really like Nuri. I think I think Wolves have got some really good footballers, I think they've got some little gems there, Wolves. I really do.
Yeah. And I saw one more thing as well. I think it was pictured on Monday, I believe. Might be Monday, could have been the one before. They could just be good old friends, Nice little coffee. Pochettino, Levy and Pochettino. It's like you're thinking, oh, the man that sacked you, and then he said it was a dream not long ago. Like, apparently, like, it would be a dream to return to Spurs and whatnot. Would you say, oh, welcome arms? Would you take Poch back?
I'd take you as the Spurs manager. Imagine
I'll do absolutely immense thing. I'll have Dean down here as my assistant coach.
I'm all for it. If you two were announced today as the Spurs' new manager and assistant manager, I'm all over it. I'm going to buy shirts with your names on. I'm all over it, mate. Listen, Poch was very well loved, and what he is, Kaz. I said the other day when we were having that debate with Wolfie, he's a coach.
Yeah,
he's a coach. He'll take some of these younger players at Spurs, like the Odebers, the Greys, the Bergvals, the Adogis. He'll upskill them, and yeah, listen, he's not my number one choice, but I'd definitely take him back with open arms. Yeah, definitely.
So what did he do? Would he play Gray in his position? Would he take him out?
Gray. Definitely
Nah,
not.
because Gray centre back stinks, man. What's going on? Man? He's young and
Yeah.
you're just ruining him, bro, man. That's mad. Put him in
Do you
his
know
position,
the
bro.
funny thing with it? The funny thing with it is, if you look at the second half of last season for Leeds, and then all of this season for Spurs, Archie Gray's not played central midfield for anyone for over a year. So it's kind of like I keep hearing that he's this really good number 6 midfielder, but it's like anything. I don't know about you boys. I need to see these things. You can't tell me it. I need to see it. He played his first game in midfield for Tottenham against Fulham at the weekend, and he played central midfield with Basuma and Bentancur, and he didn't do anything wrong. He didn't stand out, but it's really difficult, right? Because he's literally played right back, left back, centre back all season. So I don't know how good he is. I genuinely
he's good. My dad's a Leeds fan, and
really
used to rave about him when he was at Leeds all the time, saying that he's the best player in the Championship. He's a good player. Like, I've watched him a couple of times.
But we had this convo, innit, Dean? We had this convo about Archie Gray. Sorry to cut in. We had this convo about him, and I said, by now he should have cemented his place in the Tottenham centre midfield spot. Yeah, with how bad Tottenham have been centre midfield.
Basuma as well. You know what I
Like,
mean?
Basuma and Sarr and Bentancur. Ange doesn't know which combination is the best for him. It just doesn't look right. By now, I would expect Archie Gray to have surely cemented himself or tried it.
That's the manager, isn't it? The manager shouldn't be putting a youngster in defence. Maybe you should put Basuma or something. Like, because you brought a youngster from the Championship. Like, put him in an unnatural position, centre back, and it's not even like he's getting protection, bro. They get a run through. Like, it's crazy, bro.
Do you know the funny thing about him picking Gray to go centre back was in the summer he said when he was asked on the last day of the window why didn't you buy another centre back, he said, "Oh, like, I don't want to block the pathway of some of the exciting young centre backs at Tottenham." And then that very same couple of days he loaned out Dorrington, who's a young centre back. He's gone to Aberdeen, and he loaned out Ashley Phillips, who's at Stoke.
Your new boy.
Yeah,
and it's like, why wouldn't you have kept Phillips as like a 6'2" centre back who's played there for Blackburn and plays for England under whatever he plays, and yet listen, I feel for Gray. I do. I feel for Gray. I'm not one for bigging up these kids too quickly. I don't like the way people do that, but listen, when you are not getting in above Bentancur, who's been absolutely atrocious, by the way, Bentancur, Basuma, and Sarr.
Something's not up, and especially with youngsters. I feel like you get to a certain point where certain youngsters, I feel at 18 and fearless, I feel like he should have had at least a run of games in that centre midfield spot with how bad Tottenham have been in the last 2-3 months. They've been terrible, and I feel
let's
like
see now. We can't get Europe through the league, and we can't get relegated. We're now at the moment. We're one of those teams who you could say with 9 games to go, right? It's like,
you can mix and match and see what happens. Yeah, you can build for next season now.
You can experiment now. You could just the season's over, innit? Just experiment. Play him in his position, bro. I want to see him there, man.
I want to see him.
Spurs got Chelsea next, innit?
No, but let me ask you: Would you, as a Tottenham fan, would you then say that you need new centre midfielders in the summer, or would you say stick with stick with Gray to see if you can build him in that position? What would you say?
Listen, the way I see it is, I said in the summer, I want all new midfielders. I think we've had Bentancur, Basuma, and Sarr for 4 years, 4 years, and it's never quite worked for one reason or another. They're all in and out of form, always suspended, always injured. Bentancur and his whole racism with Son thing, that happened. Basuma sucking balloons or whatever he was doing.
There's always something going on, isn't it?
And
for me, a mess. It's a mess.
I want Spurs to go and get 2. Listen, they don't have to be we don't sign world class, so that's not a problem. But just want 2 solid, grown-up central midfielders that give you. I want people always laugh at me when I say this. You know, like what Villa have got with John McGinn.
Yeah. I agree.
Every game he gives you a 7, 8 out of 10. Works hard, gets forward, gets back.
A real man.
Yeah, not a sexy name. Not going to sell a million shirts. we need a midfielder like that. And the problem we've got, guys, is at the moment, unless we win the Europa, which I don't think we will, if we don't get Europa, we're going to have one game a week next year. And now you've got Graham Bergvauer's kids somehow have to get minutes. Saar, Bentancur, Basuma are all still there.
Odegaard as well.
Kulu, you've got Odegaard and Yang that's come in, who's on loan at QPR. You've got Madison and Kulusevski. You've now suddenly got all these players, and it's like, how do they all get minutes? So look, the club's a mess right now, guys. The club is a mess, absolute mess.
Only now, though. I think only now is the club a mess. I think last season it wasn't quite as messy as it is now. I think now it's only a bit messy because you've had a lot of injuries. You got to be honest. Injuries have really, like, people don't like to be honest about other rival teams. And I'm an Arsenal fan. I hate Tottenham, but any team would struggle with the amount of injuries you lot have had. This is just the truth of it.
Do you know the problem is, right? That is the truth of it for this little period of time. But as Kaz will tell you, I'm in a WhatsApp group with Kaz, and he'll tell you the stats I put in the other day about Tottenham. Since his first defeat, which was in November 2023, right? And bearing in mind, we're now, 18 months since that. His first defeat with Chelsea was against Chelsea. Since that day, he's got a 1.23 or a 1.24 points per game ratio in 18 months. He's lost 27 of 57 league games. Right, Spurs last year, in this last calendar year, so 2024, had our worst ever points per game ratio, worst ever number of points in a league calendar year, most number of defeats. So, you can look at the injuries, but this was going on a long time
previously,
before the injuries, right? And since these players have come back, you watch how we play. We're brilliant. You guys probably enjoy it because we're that wide open. There's going to be goals. We're that wide open. But as a fan, I'm sitting there and going, "Where's the coaching? Like,
100%,
why is this back four not drilled? Why are the two midfielders not actually playing as a partnership? Why are the wide players always cut?" So look, there has been injuries, and I'll give him leeway for that to a degree, but. As I've said a million times, the worst manager I've ever seen at Tottenham Hotspur. So I'm looking forward to it.
How you see it,
I was on the Tottenham thing last night, and they were saying that you ain't had your centre partnership at the back 70% of the games. 70%, over 70%, bro. That's a lot, bro, to not have your centre.
Do you know what though? Do you know what the funny thing about that is? We talk about the centre back pairing a lot. But the problem is, even before they were injured, they're exposed because of the system. Yeah. I've always said it doesn't matter. You could put Maldini and Baresi at centre half, right? It doesn't matter if you're this wide open. We literally have a back two because our fullbacks play in midfield.
You play with a back two.
So you can have Prime, Terry and Rio in there. If you're leaving them 2-on-3, 2-on-4, don't matter how good you are.
Every game is like that, isn't it?
Yeah, every game.
So he does it with no matter who's available to him. Like he doesn't. He's got Archie Gray at centre back. He does not care. It literally makes no difference if you've got Archie Gray at centre back or Bissouma at centre back. You think
it'd be a great time to develop an actual young centre back, like you said, Dorrington or Ashley. I can't believe he's not playing Ashley Phillips. By the way, now that's a talent. Anyways, big up to his family. I was going to say, if people that are in here, please smash the like button. I'm pretty sure 174 likes. There's over 300 odd people or 330 people in the house. Thursday is international break. It stinks. We've had, dropouts. We've had new incomings as well. So we've been doing our own transfers. So anyways, please smash the likes. Quick loan deal. But yeah, man, we could talk about that since we're going to talk about Sancho, innit? Oh my God. But bar that, you lot had a great debate yesterday. I see as well. And Liverpool easy Premier League title. But since we've got Savra in the building and whatnot.
What debate you talking about?
The Premier League talk yesterday. Remember the title talk we done?
Me and you.
Yeah, me, you, Hooks, Matt.
Yeah. Which one specifically?
Well, it's easy, yeah.
The Premier, we were talking about because the other day as well. So basically, the Liverpool, this easy Premier League title to win, the quality of the Premier League in itself. We were talking about that during the charity stream and that, and it's just thought, And actually, funny enough, I've seen it all online recently as well about the quality. Like, and then obviously Mon spoke about it on Never a Foul yesterday as well. About it's like it's funny when Liverpool win as well. Like it's classed as an easy prem rather than anything else. And then I remember you saying on his show talking about there's only been about 2 good seasons probably in quality in the last 7 years.
Yeah.
And you I think you said, was it 2021 or 21-22? And there's another season just before that.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's only been two. Like in terms of like, so the season where I think City won it against Villa on the last day, I'll classify that as a pretty good season. And I'd say even last season with the 3-horse race, I think the level was decent that year. But every other year, in my opinion, it's not been great. I get why it's been highlighted more for this season, but every other year it's not been great, personally. Just because
go on, sorry.
No, you go.
You know what it is as well, like we were saying yesterday, I think one of the main things like we discussed was the lower level clubs managers are probably a lot better or on par with some of the topper level clubs managers.
Yeah, much better.
They are better, yeah.
For the top level managers to get into the Premier League, you got to take a lower level club now. So the depth of the managers has got so good that every single game in the Premier League away from home is now regarded as one of the hardest games. You play Bournemouth away from home, you play Brighton away from home, you play Brentford away from home. That is just as challenging as going to Arsenal and potentially going to these places. Newcastle away from home. These games are just as tricky. And the managers now, there's arguments to say that Arteta is not better than Iriola or Glasner or Hertzler. There's the argument. Not to say I think he is. Obviously, I'm an Arsenal fan, but people can have these arguments to say that lower level clubs managers are better than a lot of the top level. The depth is too strong, and I feel like that's probably what's happened now more so than anywhere. Back in the day, you had Wenger and Ferguson that were clearing away.
Do you know what it is? It's also mathematics, bro. Like, not my opinion, by the way, mathematics. If the teams in the middle of the table, if they improve to a degree, something has to give points wise. Because only a certain amount of points can be won. When someone wins, another team loses. You can only get a certain amount of points out of all the games you play. So if mathematically they are winning more games, then if the top teams are suffering in terms of maybe they're drawing a lot more games, or the top teams, again, like we said, going Bournemouth away. Now man are looking at that and going,
bro, that is just
you take a draw. You take a draw now. It's mad.
Not almost take a draw.
No, but bro, you would take a draw away to Bournemouth right now.
I'm not just leaning on that side because I do think it's both, innit? I'm not just leaning on the one side. I'm just saying that when the teams in the middle of the table do improve, just by mathematics, either the relegation or the top teams will have to give way in terms of points, because if they're winning more games, someone's dropping more points. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, the top teams should definitely be like, again, the Spurs should never be where they are. Man United, this is a new low for them.
This is the reason why they are where they are. This is the reason why they are where they are.
Yeah, it plays a part as to why they are where they are. And I think people mix the word competitive with the quality of the overall league.
Exactly that. It's subjective, bro. It's subjective because you can think everyone's at the top of the division. Yeah. What about the 10th to 5th position, bro? There's like 5 points between them. So we could say it's better because the competition is stronger. Like, it's not.
Or you can say it's worse because the top teams are. You can say it's worse because the top teams are poor. Can
I put a different spin on it? Guys.
Yeah,
I feel like because I don't feel like there's match winners anymore. I don't feel like there's Mavericks. I don't feel like there's geniuses out there. Yeah. And so now everyone now is very much, if you knock that off, I'm going to kill you. Sorry, I'm talking to the puppy. Sorry. If I
kill the puppy, I can't believe what I'm
hearing. Is that the different spin on it? Is that the different spin on it that you wanted?
Right. Sorry. I think that where there's not as many Mavericks and not as many match winners now, everything now is very much about.
Speak for yourself, though. Don't speak for my club. Don't speak for my club, but speak for yourself.
There's systems, right? Everyone's playing in this system, which is great. And everyone's very well drilled. Everyone's very well organized, and it's great, and that's brilliant. But you don't have as many Mavericks now that can break that down. You don't have as many people as back in the day that it didn't matter about the system. It was, I know that when that guy gets the ball, when a Ginola gets the ball, when a Giggs or an Overmars or Perez, Yadi Zola. There's not as much of that. So a lot of it now is very much, hey, we're very well drilled. Break us down. Hey, what we're going to do and try and break you down is we're just going to go pass, try. And for me, I do think Mons is absolutely right. I think there's that. I think the level of quality isn't as good. Whatever you just said, like, you know, that it's meeting in the middle, but I think there's a lack of quality at the top. And I think everyone's more organized now at the bottom and in the middle. But I find it's more boring now than ever. I don't know if anyone. I find
the boring.
boring
you know what it is? There's no rivalries anymore. There's no rivalries. So you see, before,
there is rivalries, but it doesn't feel like a rivalry. It doesn't. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't, like, when it gets to the game, it's like, oh, is this what we're watching again? Oh, okay.
No, but you know what? It's nothing, and there's nothing worse. There's nothing worse than seeing a player where it's after full time, if you've lost, or before, all
shaking
hands.
Listen, we was beefing Everton after the game. I don't know about you, man.
No, I know that, but I'm saying, like, in general, like if I'm playing Arsenal, or let's say, or whatever, I don't care if it's like Chelsea or whatever. Like, we're talking these so-called rivalries. That's what we call the top 6 rivals, or whatever. I don't want to see you shaking hands with Reece James. I want to see, like, you need to be screwing him. Like, are you being side eye and thinking, like, who do you think you are coming to my gaff thinking you're the boss?
That's exactly what we need. We need that.
But they're hugging before the game.
In the tunnel.
They're in the tunnel before the game, going, "Hello, mate. How you? What? I want King Vieira type beef. I want them staring at each other like, we've got you today. Now it's, hello, mate, let's have a hug. But nah, come on. Where's the
before the game, before the game where they're all in the tunnel and they're all talking to each other. And I'm like, well, listen, we're at war with this team. Like, you need to go into the game knowing that we have to beat them by any means necessary. But I also think as well, to add to that, is like the lower teams and the managers, because they're so much better, you get outplayed by the lower teams. Like the lower teams, when we played Southampton, that was one of our hardest half an hours we played all season. Southampton were all over us. We couldn't get the ball. When we played Brighton, they outplayed us.
When we played Brighton, we could not touch the ball. First half, felt naked. I felt naked, bro. Like, they were just popping us. It was crazy, bro. It was nuts.
But even so, like, just for rivalries aside for a second, I think we're the most, for me, we're the most entitled. Like, that's why people like foreign fans call us prem-tards, innit? I don't know if you lot have heard the word prem.
Oh yeah, I've heard that, yeah.
That's because, and I'm not gonna lie, they're not wrong. If you only watch them, they're not wrong, because we are the most entitled fans. I'm not talking about Liverpool fans. I'm talking about Premier League.
As a league.
Premier League.
As a league. Yeah. Because we think we're the best. When really, over the last 4, 5, 6, 7, bro, we call other leagues farmer leagues with the most chest. We have 2 Premier League winners in the last 8 years, bro.
You might span that.
I'm sorry. And the one that's won it the most barely had a past 2008. So it's
the best league is the Italian league right now, in my opinion. I'm not gonna lie, man.
So this is what I mean, when I say we're mad entitled, where it's like we're disentitled. We go to the Champions League and we get shown levels. Liverpool, one of the best teams at the time. We were the best team in the league when we went to Atlanta last season. We were the best team in the league before Atlanta home, and we got beaten. We got beaten 3-0. Bad, beaten 3-0 at home at Anfield. This season, best team in the league. PSG made us look very, very, very average. Arsenal last year, once we'd gone out at Europa, Arsenal had overtaken Liverpool. You'd say at least top 2 in the league, maybe best in the league, when Man City were like about to catch up. Best Arsenal team we've seen in what? 10 years, 12 years, easily, maybe even better. In fact, it's the best Arsenal team we've seen in 20 years. Let's just say that. Worst Bayern Munich team that we've seen, didn't even win the league. Bayern Munich to make Arsenal look relatively average. You see what I'm saying? Relatively average. Man, this Man City team is being compared to Fergie's legacy, 1 champs. Now, I'm not saying teams should be winning the champs like Real Madrid. I'm not saying that because, like, I'm not diminishing how hard it is to win the Champions League. I know how hard it is to win the Champions League. I'm just saying that the European pedigree that we don't have doesn't depict what we should be talking about in terms of how great our league is. Our league has been at an all-time low for technical quality for a while. And each year, more and more of these players, and there are some players that are technically very good in this league, that because of the P&P, you don't even get the best out of them. Do you know what I'm saying? Because, you know what I'm saying? You get the best, you can't even get the best out of them. Like Vitinha couldn't get a game for Wolves. He's one of the top 5 midfielders in Europe right now. Like you couldn't name me 5 midfielders better than Vitinha right now. Now, I'm not saying the Premier League is complete dog shit, but what I'm saying is we're not as good as we think we are right now.
I don't think it's just about the technical though. I think
like,
it's about
maybe that's down to, like what Sava said, the rigid, boring lack of match winners. Because in knockout football, at the top of at the creme de la creme in Europe, you need match winners. You need match winners. And I think because maybe coaches are, again, look at Odegaard 2 seasons ago. Look at him now. Maybe coaches are coaching it out of the players. Maybe that's a part of it. There's loads of little details you can go into it, but that's kind of my thing. If I'm wrong,
that's how the Premiership set out, though.
Obviously,
athletes, isn't it?
It's a lot of P&P. It's a lot of P&P.
Yeah, it's athletes. That's what the Premiership is now. It's just about athletes. That's
not just athletes.
Not about individuals.
You get your couple of guys who can. Who
have Anthony Joshua's in there, bro. That's all it is. If you're not Anthony Joshua size,
that's an Anthony.
I've even fallen down that trap, bro. That's who I want in my midfield. I want someone that's 6 foot something, athlete now. That's what they've done for me. I don't want to take it right no more.
Don't you think, like, for years, these conversations, these go on every year, don't they? Which league is better, this, that, the other. For me, I've always said the same thing, right? First of all, it's something that can never, ever be proven. It is down to an individual thing, right? Second of all, I think every league's got its own nuances. Like, when I watch La Liga, the standard of defending in La Liga compared to the standard of defending in the Premier League is just miles clear. They're set up better. They're drilled. You can see it looks good. England's a bit more hectic. You watch our games, there's a bit more hectic, less possession. It's just end to end, and fans like that because we think exciting means better quality. You look at the Italian league. How many teams have won the Italian league in the last 5-6 years? 4.
In AC, Napoli, and
Inter, AC, Napoli, and someone else, didn't they? Someone else won it.
Juventus.
And Juventus.
Maybe Juventus 1920. Maybe I think no.
That was 4 winners.
The last one was Ronaldo in the team, yeah.
For me, I just think it's all down to individual preference. I don't think there's any way of ever knowing. Like, for example, can you say, oh, well, this team won the Champions League, they're from Spain, that makes their league better? Or does it just make that one team? Vice versa, right? So I just think there's pros and cons to it all. But I enjoy La Liga. I enjoy Serie A. I enjoy Bundesliga as much as I enjoy the Premier League. Just over here, we've got more money. That's what I would say. We spend more money than those leagues. We spend way more money.
And I think the coaches are a bit more like, I'm not going to glorify every other league and say, oh my days, the players can express themselves way more than they can here. Because when you actually look at some teams, the organization in the Serie A is unreal. Do you know what I'm saying? There are players that, like, I think he was talking about it. Oh, he was talking about it. It might have been Tomori. Someone was talking about who they played for. They said, what's the difference between the Serie A and the Premier League? And he was saying, like, you make one pass that's not supposed to be made, or you lose the ball for no reason, and it's different to kind of the Premier League. But I do think going forward and defensively it's a bit different. I think if you look at Arsenal defensively, that's the closest you kind of get to like maybe how some foreign teams defend in terms of how they get everyone behind the ball and they defend as a unit and it's very compact. But then when you're talking about how you want like an Arsenal team to express themselves in terms of going forward, all of a sudden it looks like you're almost being killed by 1,000 passes and it's boring and it's unexpressive. So I think there's the entertainment value and then kind of like what you think needs to be done to win as well. I think that's a conversation. What needs to be done to win? And
that's what is in the Premiership. You ain't got time to. There's so much pressure in the Premiership. You have to be winning. You ain't got time to experiment. You have to get results.
But managers like Ange. Like, well, let's take Ange for example. Yeah, he, as we know, he doesn't care who is on the pitch. It's his way or the highway. Spurs could sign me tomorrow at centre back. Best know I'm on that halfway line.
Yeah.
I could be overweight and weigh 400 pounds. I'm on the halfway.
Damn burn
Right,
like, have him on halfway.
Yeah, like he's like, there is no, okay, our defenders aren't as good. Let's drop the line back a little bit. No. This is how we're gonna do it, whether I'm given the money and the players or not. And I don't know. I just think that's a bit suicidal at times. When it comes, it's very suicidal.
At times, you said
it's very suicidal. No, I'm being nice. It's very suicidal because 15 losses, man have lost half their games. And
15 out of 29 games.
Injuries or not, that's why I said injuries or not. Yeah, there's no excuse to like. I just think it's a way of throwing your players under the bus when you go all the way far left of it, like how Ange has. Do you know what I'm saying? It's some managers, they don't look at their players and go, how can I get the best out of their players? They look at their players and go, how can I get the best out of my system?
See, Ange has got this, he's almost gone the complete opposite of what most managers do. Most managers will have a look and say, right, who are we playing this weekend? What's their weaknesses? Right, how can we exploit them? Ange doesn't do that. Ange this is how we play. That's great if you're Man City of a few years ago that sweep everyone before them 2-3, 4-0. That's great. You ain't got that. And for me, I want a manager that looks and says, where are they weak? Is their right back weak? Is their left back weak? And I'll tell you this, guys, you probably do this already, so apologies for teaching anyone to suck eggs. Next time you watch a Spurs game, watch the right-hand side of our team. Watch how every opposition goes down their left against Tottenham Hotspur, right? Because Porro's never at right back. I'm not blaming Porro. Porro's never at right back because of the way we play. If I can figure it out and all the Spurs fan base can figure it out, yeah, no wonder every football manager that plays against Tottenham figures it out. You watch any team. It don't matter if they beat us or not. Any team exploit us on their left wing. If you're a left winger against Spurs, you're going to be man of the match. You're getting the ball. You're getting the freedom of the pitch.
But I remember when I knew when it was going to be an issue for Tottenham was when you played Chelsea. This is when you guys were on a good run. You played Chelsea. You went down to 9 men and you lost 4-1. It could have been like 9-1, and they were praising him. Remember that game when he went down to 9 men and they were like, "Yeah, but he's attacking football." And I was thinking, you lost 4-1. You're attacking erratically with 9 men. Like the game could have been 7-1, but you're getting praise in the media. I don't understand where the praise of. And what happened is that turned into a knock-on effect onto other managers to say you're now expected to win with 10 men. That's what happened. It got to the point where if you had 10 men, people were like, "You're not meant to defend now. You're meant to be attacking with 10 men." It became a knock-on effect. Which is what
they were cussing Arsenal for that because you went down 10 men.
Yeah, we went down to 10 men against Man City. We drew the game. Obviously, they scored last minute, and people were saying, "Yeah, but you should have been more attacking." And I'm thinking,
the last minute.
You meant to attack at the Etihad with 10 men. I didn't know you was meant to do that.
So, guys, also you don't. Oh no, go on, Castle.
No. I was gonna say Man United.
No, I was just gonna say, bro,
are you below Tottenham or you're above Tottenham now, isn't it?
I had 10 men and I was 2-0 down. I still won. You know what I'm saying? I'm above. They can't chat to me now. So
no, I'm saying,
when you look at
also
shameless 3 points.
moving away from that bit, like if you're looking at also like personnel, because we had Arsenal versus Chelsea the other day, just this weekend gone. And it was Neto. It was Neto up top versus Marino up top. Sometimes it's in front of our face. Sometimes it's not even a complicated. You see how we're breaking it down? Complex. No, it doesn't even have to be that. Sometimes you're gonna have to look at. If Chelsea play Man United, what is the front three versus the front three? Do you see what I'm saying? Like realistically, like, and I'm not even saying, it has to be Drogba versus Henry. No, it doesn't, bro. At least at one point it was Sanchez versus Diego Costa and Hazard. Sanchez and Ozil versus Costa and Hazard.
Yeah.
I'm only really going back 8-9 years for that.
No,
I'm not going back 20 years for Drogba, for the Drogba and Henry thing. And I know
even a cheeky
Giroud. And I know Chelsea have attackers out, but I'm saying that like even like when it's like Saka. I'm moving right because of Saka, Havertz, and Martinelli. Like versus, do you know what I'm saying? Versus, I don't know, Jackson, Noni, and you could say Palmer, but I'm talking about the front three in it. Palmer, I put in the 10.
That adds on to the point you just made of the same as centre midfielders. You got people like Caicedo going for 115 million. Back in the day,
that's just inflation. That's just inflation.
No, but it's not just inflation, because 150 million in today's age is a world-class win you game player. in the back in the day, technically he should cost technically about £30 million. If you ask them now to buy, if you ask them to buy João Pedro now, they'll quote you 80 million. If you try and buy Mitoma, it will be about 70 odd.
Yeah,
try and buy
Mitoma was turned down. There was a 90 million bid turned down for Mitoma.
Yeah, remember for Saudi.
We turned down 70 million from Darwin Núñez, bro. What we doing? What are we actually doing?
I think that's just today's pricing. But yeah, the point is that like also I think the attacking quality is also like
but they're all too busy fixated. My issues is too many fixated on this touchline winger bullshit that absolutely does my head in. And the fact that, and again, fan base, this is where fans come into this. What's your GA? But like as a winger, like for me, it's about, are you going to beat your man and create a situation? What are you doing? Do you need this day and age? Of course, you need your goals and assists to chip in to be rated.
Yeah, but guys like Doku are laughed at. Obviously, he has no empire. But like, but we talk about, like what happened to the wingers that just get past the line, kick it past the byline, and fizz it across the box.
Guess what we got?
That is looked down upon as well.
Exactly. But and he's told to stay wide. Why? I hate it because what you want Vardy or someone inverted. You know, I've got my cousin, as you know, VD, shameless little prick. He's begging for Madueke back now because he's had enough. Do you get it? And he hates Madueke. He hates him.
Can I say, I feel like when football changed from 4-4-2, not everyone played 4-4-2, but when football changed from 2 men up top, the whole dynamic changed, right? Back in those days, it was hardly ever done by GA. Yeah. But back then, midfielders weren't really talked about. Wingers weren't talked about for their GA. No one ever knew what Ryan Giggs did. No one knew what Kanchelskis, Overmars, Giggs, Perez. No one cared, right? Because the forwards were scoring the goals. Now there's so much emphasis on there's only one man up front. So those two wide forwards, I don't think they're wingers either. They're wide forwards.
Wide forwards.
Yeah. I want to see those wide forwards that express themselves. Do you know what I mean? Go on the outside if you need to. Come on the inside if you need to. Go on, switch. We don't see this enough. Wingers used to swap back in the day.
Yeah, in mid-game.
You can't get past your fullback. I tell you what, go and try against him and swap over. Now it's all, Spurs, we're terrible for it. We get it to Son and Johnson. Son and Johnson do the same thing every time. Are you going to beat your man? No. Foot on the ball, drag it back, 5 yards inside to midfield. And it's like, why play with wingers? Why play with wingers?
It's not wingers no more. Because
we say something. That sounded a lot like Pep Ball there. That sounds like Pep Ball.
Inside forwards replace strikers. It's true.
Yeah, bro.
It's so true.
And it is, even though, because the thing is, it's like the Grealish argument. Like we know what Grealish is able to do when he's in the 10 and when he's able to be expressive. And then we've seen what he's had to do under Pep. That's why there's the whole thing of, when he gets the ball, his foot on the ball, cuts it back.
Since when is the DM the most important in a midfield? They used to be the ones that are underrated.
100%.
Yeah. But number six.
No, hear me out, yeah. 6 used to be the position that you'd be like, oh, you remember this guy? Remember that the underrated Carrick? Yeah. You'd think about Gilberto. So you wouldn't even think about it into things because the first person you think about Arsenal in the midfield, you think Fabregas or something like that. Or whatever, right? That's the way I'm looking at it. Now I'm wondering if I'm gonna go. Now I'm getting told, oh, you see Belabor, this, that, and I'm thinking, fuck off.
Do you know what?
Who's your favorite winger in the league? Guys, who's your favorite winger? Each of you in the league?
That is a
winger.
Favorite, or I think
they're wingers. They're wingers still, though.
Mine's
wide forwards. Who's your favorite wide forward winger?
The brilliant
in the league.
Mine's
Saka.
Right. So if I was to say Saka,
we said at the same time, crazy. I like Saka. There's
not many. There's not many.
We're kind of
Salah. I look at Anthony Gordon. I think he's a really good player.
Gordon's my one, second top 2.
And then I'm really scraping around looking at. All right,
Gordon's up there.
Got some good bits, but
what I really like? It's like
players. Where's the?
There's not even a Ben Arthur anymore. Ben Arthur or anything like that.
Even though Kudus is not a 10, I think Kudus is one of my favorites. I really like Kudus,
man. I like Kudus. I like Kudus.
Kudus. Ahmad gives me the old school winger vibes a bit as well. Kudus, someone that's got a bit of everything about them. It's not just like, even if they don't provide the goal or assist, that they're going to create a situation. That's what I like. Yeah. And the thing is, it gets to a point, if the wingers keep making situations, it's like, now I'm going to judge you on your end product. like a little bit. Are you going to pick up the right pass? Are you going to put it to the correct person at the edge of the box? Are you just spamming crosses for the sake of spamming the cross? Like, then it becomes about that. That's what I feel like a winger is. It's your 1v1s.
Do you know what? Someone said it in the comments. No, I don't know.
I get told Rashford.
Big up yourself in the comments. Someone said teams are scared because everything's so organized now, teams are scared of getting countered. And if you actually look at how teams are set up, if the centre-back tries to break the lines and loses the ball, you've now got that bank of 5 running at your back 2, because the wing-backs are right by the byline and your 2 centre-backs, and maybe the DM is like, maybe you have the 3, you got the 2 centre-backs and the DM that's kind of asking to kind of receive the ball on the half turn. And if you give that ball away, you got the striker, the centre mid, their wingers going like that. No matter who the team is, it could be Leicester, it could be anyone. And it's right, like, bro, because of the way teams are setting up defensively, or because like what Savage said at the very start of the stream about the systems, teams are so scared to give away the ball. So you're just seeing this for about 15 minutes.
I don't think it's about scared to give away the ball. I think they're scared to win the game.
No, bro. They're scared to be countered, bro. That, like, it's like managers only want their players to potentially lose the ball in certain areas.
Let me tell you why I say that, yeah. Because I was at a training facility a little while ago, yeah, and there was a young boy, and he scored a brilliant goal. He went through a couple of players and then shot it from about 30, 40 yards. He got shouted at.
Yeah, but that's the coaching.
Yeah, but that's the point I'm making. If he's now scared to go and do what like, you know, when you take on a couple of players and shoot from 30 yards, not to say that's what you're going to do every time.
Because that's the even. You know, I think. Well, anyway, I think you're about to that. It's a poor evolution. Well, it's just the evolution that we have right now. We don't like that as a match going fan or as a watcher of football. But bro, if there's a talisman in the team who is kind of like giving the ball, he's going to make things happen. They'll just set the system up to stop him, and therefore the team's been nullified. That I'm not saying I like that. That's the way coaches kind of look at it.
I don't think you can nullify those type of players, though. I don't think you can nullify Hazard.
You can. Yes, you can, bro.
No, I don't think you can.
These days, you can. You think teams won't just set up.
Well, we had under Herrera following around the whole game.
I'm saying, if you have a Hazard on one side,
talisman who's the 10, and you cut the supply line off to the 10. You've cut off.
No, you can't. No, you can't.
Yeah, of course that's, bro. Of course that is.
No way.
Bro, Newcastle cut off the supply line to Mohamed Salah, and they battered.
Salah's not like Hazard. I'm talking about the very best creative players. I'm talking about players like Aka.
I'm talking about your best player, bro.
But that's not the point. That's not the point I'm making. That's not the point I'm making.
But you're saying, okay, even the Maverick, bro. Even the Maverick teams have set up their banks. Like, if teams set up their banks to stop the best player, bro, to stop their best player, then you're not going to be as dangerous as a team. There is no 10 that's unmarkable. You can be marked out of games no matter how good you are, bro.
No,
unless you are Lionel Messi. And even then,
can't.
Yes, you can, bro.
Certain players you can't, bro. If you was to play against certain players, yeah, like the greatest players, you think you can mark players like Zidane? What they used to do with players like Zidane, you can't stop players like that. What they used to do, you can win the game. But trying to stop a player like Zidane, you would end up messing up your whole game plan. That was the point.
Not in the organization, bro. Back then, though, the organization was different, bro. It was me versus you, ball. It was you attack, now we attack. Now it's 2 banks of 4, park that bus and nullify that guy if he's their talisman. And that is what, bro, it's in the proof's in the pudding, bro.
It's not.
I'll be honest. You know the difference between if you put Hazard in a game against Newcastle, yeah, the difference is Hazard could pick the ball up from deep and probably take on 2-3 guys and destroy your back line. Yeah. But I hear what Monster's saying though as well. Obviously these days, if you decide you want to play part of the bus, then good luck. Like it's like
anyone can.
Come on, Italians used to do it, but even if we go back to that, then once remember Italian football. Sometimes it used to be quite rigid in terms of that 2 banks of 4. But the thing is, you always still have an Adriano with an extra guy playing off of him. All of them kind of guys, Vieri, whatever. It's difficult. It's difficult. Hazard's for me is like not the GA guy, but he's the guy that's gonna change your shape of the way you're gonna play because your game plan's going out the window. Because once he takes two guys on, once he takes two guys, it's long.
But you know what it is? 9 times out, if you did what Monts did 10 times, Hazard would probably still win you the game 8 times. You probably wouldn't be able to stop him 10 times out of 10. Do you get it?
Bro,
You're saying it like it can be done. Of course, it can be done in games, but over the course of
Hazard's one of the best footballers I've ever seen. Bro.
That's what I'm saying. Like, bro, I understand what you're saying in terms of
I don't think neither of you are kind of wrong though, man. You get what I'm saying?
No, but bro, like the point I'm trying to make is that these days, if a team has a talisman that's a Maverick type of player, so it doesn't have to be Hazard, it could be like Ben Arthur, you know, who was at Newcastle, you know, it could be just those type of players. You can pick up the ball, beat 3 or 4 players, and open up the space. Yeah, well, that space isn't really in the middle of the pitch as much anymore. It rarely is. I'm not saying it can never happen. I'm not.
They'll find space. The thing is, they will find the top players, the Eden Hazards. And what I love is I like reading the chat, and I'm seeing a lot of people in the chat picking out individual games where a player was stopped rather than looking at their entire career, which I think is
the whole thing.
Like,
yeah, exactly.
Individual players like Giggs, Hazard, Ginola, the Overmars, you know, I mean, we could do this all day long. JJ Okocha, these people, you might stop them 8 out of 10 times in the game, right? Exactly. But there's those one occasion, those 2 occasions where it don't matter what your tactics, it doesn't matter how well you're set up. They are just better than the defender they're facing. They are better. And Eden Hazard was one of the best dribblers I've ever seen. He was, it's such a shame. If he had applied himself a bit more, I think we'd be talking about him as one of the greatest players the Premier League's ever seen. But for me, he was 2 hit and miss. But I think the problem is, I don't know if you guys saw this the other day on what's Gary Neville and Roy Keane's thing and
overlap.
The overlap. Roy Keane and Glenn Hoddle, right? Was sitting having a chat about football.
Glenn Hoddle, I know. I love
turned around and said, and you guys say I'm saying this because I'm Spurs. Glenn Hoddle was one of the greatest footballers England's ever produced, right? And he turned around and he said,
"The demon, he's old.
Why are we making football so complicated?" Like he said, why is everything he's got to invert? They've got to invert. He needs to.
Thank you.
It doesn't need to be that complicated. Yes, have a structure. Yes, have a plan. But at some point, you've got to go and win games. At some point, you've got to turn around and go, like, sorry, to labour my point. So how many teams you watch that play this kind of pass, right?
Everyone.
They're 10 minutes to go. They're losing 1-0, right? And you're thinking, right, maybe I'm old.
Where's the chaos? Where's the chaos?
Bring on your centre forward and a 6'4" centre back sub.
Lump it.
Like get balls in the box. These teams are still pass, patient, and it's like
you need to win the game. Like you'll see how Sava, there's 5 minutes of extra time. It's 90th minute, and you're seeing the keeper from a goal kick put his foot on the ball and give it to the right to this in his own box.
Crazy. It's building up from the back.
When he passed back to the long from the centre back. They
and it's
do
not
it
even
for
their fault, by the way, because the manager, and it's not even their fault because they're being told to do that, by the way. As in, if he goes long, he knows he's not playing next game, kind of thing. Like that, it's that kind of thing. Like, it's the maddest thing. I can't remember who it was that put their foot on the ball and played it to the left, and there was barely any time. Do you know what? I think it was even Tottenham versus Liverpool. I think you remember trying to play out the back when you lot were losing.
Sounds
in the second leg of the Carabao Cup before the other goals, I'm like, I couldn't believe it.
Do you know what? Right, Spurs were playing Crystal Palace this year, and this is Crystal Palace hadn't won a single game at the time we played them and lost to them. It's 1-0 down at Selhurst Park. There's like 5 minutes of extra time. Everybody went forward, right? Everyone went forward. And Vicario gets the ball and gives it to the one player 5-10 yards away from him. I'm like, dude, we've got Solanke and Richarlison both 6'2", 6'3" up front. It's just, it's madness, honestly.
But that's what I mean when I said to D about you versus, like, I know it's a very simple way of putting it. I say me versus you ball, where it's just who is better, because football was a lot of that back then. It's not that much so now, but that me versus you ball, you kind of only see that in the last 15 minutes of a game, or we get those examples that we've just spoken about where players are just sticking to their laurels no matter how much time's left in the game, because the philosophy is more important than the result at this point. But which is, again, that's giving me a nosebleed. Just thinking, that's just giving me a nosebleed, if I'm honest. I even saw it. I'm pretty sure I saw it at times. Cool, against Newcastle in the final, we threw the kitchen sink at the game. But I've seen Liverpool do it. I've seen us try and play out the back when there's barely any time to go. We've seen Arsenal do it. We were seeing Chelsea. I was seeing Chelsea. You know when Timber said try harder to Maresca? That Chelsea Arsenal game, I felt sick watching it because I was seeing it was 5 minutes left, and Chelsea were knocking the ball around in their own half. They were losing 1-0 to their.
They're happy for a 1-0 defeat. That's what it felt
like.
Their
London rivals. It's a 6-pointer, and they were knocking the ball around, refusing to break the lines.
Do you know what it is, Bob?
You
hate to say it.
Everyone thinks they're.
It's foreign managers. That's what it is. It's the foreign managers. This is the truth.
You say that, right? Like, and again, I'm seeing so many people go, Pep's ruined football. Hang on. Pep manages one team. Pep does not set up the other 19 Premier. All of this, Pep's ruined football. What, you mean the copycat managers are ruining football?
Yeah, but you couldn't beat Pep at that. You couldn't beat Pep with the old style of football at that time. It's only the English style of football. It's really only Newcastle, which is Eddie Howe and Thomas Frank, that have still kind of got the old school way, and David Moyes, the British football, that have still got the old school way. Everyone that's got a foreign manager is playing that style of football. Only the British managers, like I say, Eddie Howe, Thomas Frank, those guys are the only one. That's why Liverpool, when Liverpool played Newcastle, that was an old school. That was an old school game.
Come up to the Premier League with Russell Martin, who I believe is English. If not, it's the most English-sounding foreign name ever, right? And Russell Martin's trying to play out the back with a team that needs survival. Even Ipswich with McKenna, right? Everyone's trying to play out the back. I get it, right?
Yeah, but they're copying that style. This is the new day and age of managers.
I understand that, but the problem is, how many times now? Pick your poison, whether it's Sky, Match of the Day, whatever you watch your football highlights. How many goals now are you watching where a goal's been given away because the players aren't good enough to play out the back, but continue to because of a manager's philosophy? Playing out the back is tough. Playing out the back, City were brilliant at it because they had people very comfortable on the ball. When you are all technically comfortable at receiving the ball, shifting the ball out, knowing where your next pass is, play it. Every manager's playing it now with players that aren't built to do it. Managers are doing it with fullbacks that were meant to be no nonsense, with centre backs that aren't good with their feet. And the problem is, fans now, look how fans judge centre backs. Nowadays, when I hear fans judging centre backs, how good they are bringing the ball.
And goalkeepers. They judge goalkeepers first with how you play, if you can kick the ball.
Exactly. Not how bloody good is his shot stopping, commanding his area.
They don't care about that. They care more about Onana and Vicario, two players that, well, not so much of Vicario because he's a good shot stopper, but people like Onana and other players, that kicking is first. Like, kicking is before handling. How does that make sense for a goalkeeper when you're allowed to use your hands? It's crazy. But that's the way we've gone. It's like strikers, a lot of strikers.
People saying ball playing for a keeper is more important than shot stopping. Sorry, call me old. What is that?
Yeah, but
I want my goalkeeper keeping that little round thing out of the net. Like this.
That's what Man United's got. They've got a ball playing goalkeeper that can't save a ball.
He's brilliant with his feet. He's terrible with his hands.
I'm not gonna lie. Brilliant with his feet. I don't even know about that these days.
Onana's brilliant with his feet.
I don't know about these. I don't know about.
Playing centre mid.
I'm telling you now. If you watch Man United week in week out, this guy's sus. Anyways, not the point. Regardless. By the way, people, make sure you keep smashing the likes. We're not even on 200 likes. 16 away. So if you're in the TVs, all of that good stuff. You've got a remote sitting there. Don't act like you wasn't bashing away over the keyboard just a minute ago, or whatever. So you can get your remotes. Wash your hands first, like the video, all that.
You're going on mad.
Yeah, man.
Kaz says crazy things, but
I know. I'm thinking, what's he saying to start with? I was what he's saying.
Hey, these are on their bed
mad.
watching. I'm not gonna lie. These man watching through their TVs, definitely on their phones, man. You know what I mean? They got time, innit? They got time. They're talking about brilliant plays that it's not working out once again. The one that Mons calls Jamar, looking like is
I don't know why. I don't know what is it about Sancho that you like so much, Mons. Anyway, he doesn't do anything.
Well, let's not like he's been shit.
Neymar, he called not Neymar. Sancho, he calls Sancho J-Mo.
Listen,
for some reason.
Neymar does similar things to Odegaard and just spins around and doesn't do
To
nothing.
Odegaard.
Odegaard. I'm not going to talk about someone's. Listen, man. Listen, I can have awkward conversations.
Let's not do the back and forth between you and I. Let's just keep it. We better nice.
We don't need to do the back and forth. I just gave you two similarities about players doing a lot but not doing anything at all.
Do not.
And that's what Odegaard's been doing for a lot of this season.
Don't say.
But anyway, listen, man, I don't want to hear that one. Man, they don't want to hear that one. You know
talk about Luis Diaz.
I can't talk about Luis Diaz.
He's dead.
Like, talk about Luis Diaz.
You got your own players.
I can be honest about my players. I can be honest. You can't be honest about what you've seen from Odegaard this season.
You don't compare Sancho and Odegaard.
But my point is, listen, my point is that with Sancho, I think at this point, Premier League football might not just be for him, because obviously we see glimpses. We listen from a technical standpoint, From a technical standpoint, I think Sancho is superior to a lot of English footballers. We're talking about our English wingers and what we have in our country. Sancho is definitely like technically gifted to one of the highest levels. However, it's about what can you give us output wise, and it's not just. When I say output, I'm not even talking about just G. I'm talking about being more direct. Do you know what I'm saying? He's not directing. He's not playing direct enough. When he has been direct, you can see what he's able to do. Like as I said, I think Chelsea fans would agree that he's been good at parts of the season, especially the first half of the season when he come in. He started very well. And now he's kind of just stagnated to that kind of whole keep the ball, look pretty, and not quite do anything type of player, which I think maybe might be down to the league. Because you can't sit there and tell me Sancho don't have no ability. You can't.
You're being nice about it. I don't know why.
I'm not. What? So you're telling, bro? As I said, I wouldn't say that Odegaard has no ability. I think Odegaard is one of the most.
Talk about Luis Diaz. You've got your own player to talk about.
No, but those guys are way more. Those two that I mentioned, are way more technical than a Luis Diaz. Way more technical. An Odegaard and a Sancho, they are technically miles clear.
Okay, but let's focus on Sancho.
On Sancho, yeah, bro. Like, and he's like, even though the whole of Chelsea stagnated, bro, like, I think it doesn't help players like Sancho, and it's probably better for guys like Mudryk and Noni who are more direct. Do you know what I'm saying? If you're not direct enough, you're not affecting the game enough, regardless of how technical you are. And again, it's another thing of being misprofiled. I think what people would say, but Mons, like you said, Nkunku's shit. So why don't you say Sancho's shit? Nkunku's shit because he's barely done anything. Sancho has enough highlights this year for Chelsea fans to go, there's something there.
This year?
Yeah, this season.
Oh, what are you saying, Mons?
Have you never watched Chelsea? Have you never watched Chelsea?
Sancho's done nothing.
Have you never watched? Have you not?
He had a couple of assists at the beginning, and everyone was like, "Sancho's back." He's done nothing. He's not done anything.
That's if you don't think he's done nothing.
You're being so nice to him. I don't know why. It's not like you.
He's a guy. He's a great He's a great footballer. He's just not suited to the Premier League. It's as simple as that.
As I said, he's not effective enough in the Premier League.
Yeah, he needs to go back to, I think, Bundesliga. I don't think
he's done nothing this season is insane.
What he's done? He's had a couple of good games.
No. You know
crazy,
that's
crazy.
He makes one simple ID. He makes one simple pass that I've seen myself play to Mons or Roms in last charity game and all that kind of stuff, yeah. And it gets absolutely blown out proportion. Like, it's like, oh, did you see that? No, it was a simple pass, bro. And then I see Jackson running and then going and scoring. Like, it's like, the thing is, it's not like it was at the start. It was
Grealish shit. It's Grealish shit.
Nah, but he's been shit.
Can't compare Grealish.
Is Grealish shit? Yes or no? Is he shit?
Can't compare them two. Bro.
Is Grealish shit?
How can you say
Why is no one answering my question? Is yes or no? Is Grealish shit?
Grealish take over games in Champions League.
Yeah,
Like
true.
what you're
So was
saying.
Sancho.
But
So
I
was
think
Sancho.
Sancho. It's not Sancho.
So
to
was
be fair.
Sancho. Sancho was one of the main reasons Dortmund got to the Champions League final just last
He's
season.
not at Dortmund. That was years ago, bro.
It was last year. We talking. It was last year.
Yeah, they got the loan.
It
You
was
got the loan.
last year. We doing here.
Bro.
What are we
Yeah, but
doing?
no.
It was
You know
last
what they
year,
did? You know what they
bro.
did? You know what they did? He had that
You're
one.
reaching a lot.
This is the
It was
difference, yeah.
last year, bro. What are we doing?
This is what fanboys do. They watched the one game against PSG, yeah.
you're
He watched the
reaching,
one game against
But my
PSG and he
point-
was really good, yeah.
But my point is, Grealish is not
Reason.
shit. Grealish is not shit. He's asked to play a certain way that is completely against his style, but he's good enough to still play that style and whatever it is, it's kind of works.
Style that he's been asked to do that he's not meant to be doing.
My thing is that if man are saying Sancho's done absolutely nothing this season, then obviously have the same energy for Grealish. Then it's as simple as that.
You can't compare Sancho and Grealish, man.
Yes, you can compare them. A lot of talent,
Grealish
not directly
over European games. What are you talking about?
Are you telling me Sancho is not taking over high caliber games in the Champions League? You're lying to yourself.
On earth are you talking about? This is not like you. I don't know who you are today.
Not like what
all this energy for someone that's
telling me when
you gave him a nickname. You gave Sancho a nickname. You gave Sancho a nickname, and now you feel like you have. No, you gave Sancho a nickname, Jamar. Now you feel like you have to defend him. That's what's happening here. Sancho is been underperforming for about 4 years. What are you talking about? He got sold for 20 million. What are you talking about?
We don't know. Well, we might not have anymore.
This is not hard to understand. You just defended him for the sake of defending him. Is Sancho better than Kulusevski?
Nah,
you're thinking about it.
I think Kulusevski's a baller, though. I think Kulusevski's better.
If
I tell you who I think Kulusevski's better than, you might not gonna like it, innit?
By the way, you can't use the young thing no more. He turns 25 in 5 days.
Yeah, I didn't say he's young.
No, people in the chat, because you know how they used to say Lingard was young till about 27, 28. Same thing, babyface, isn't it?
Certain man just aren't cut out for the Prem.
Yeah. There'll be a sick
man. Lingard's still a promising prospect. Lingard is. That's what I'm hearing still.
Sancho needs to go back to Bundesliga football and kill it up there, in my opinion. I don't think he suits La Liga. I don't think he's active enough for that.
But there's a reason why he went to Dortmund and instantly done very well. Do you know what I'm saying? Because as you said,
but it's just the way they are. Football is more systematic and obviously cater to his needs as well. To be fair, let's be real. Would
you say the best players have to cater to leagues?
Well, look at Vitinha. Vitinha couldn't get a game against Wolves. He's now a top 5 player in Europe. He's a top 5 midfielder in Europe.
Yeah, he is.
That's not what I asked.
He couldn't get a game for Wolves.
That's not the question I asked you. There's always going to be anomalies. That's not the question I asked you. Do you think a top player has to be that? Do you feel that they have to be directed by leagues, or do you feel the best players in the world can play in any league? Which one do you think it is?
Well, listen, we complain about there not being enough technical ability in the league. Well, because that's the conversation we complain.
And Vitinha might not have made it.
Vitinha was a young.
Wait.
Vitinha was a young. Vitinha is 25. Hold on. Vitinha is 25. Vitinha is 25.
You're saying Vitinha didn't make it a Wolves. If Vitinha was at Man City or Arsenal, he might have come through. He might have made it. That's the difference. You playing for Wolves and playing for Arsenal. We do know. Sancho went to Man United and Chelsea.
Okay, all right. Look at Brahim Diaz. All right, look at Brahim Diaz. Look at Brahim Diaz. Look at Brahim Diaz.
Don't give me new examples. Wait.
I can give you many examples.
Don't give me new examples. You mentioned an example, so let's stick to what you said. You said Vitinha, who was at Wolves. Sancho has been at Dortmund. He's gone to Manchester United and Chelsea. So at Man United, they don't really play too much technical football. So you feel like, okay, fair enough. It might be the fact that it's the style of play. Wait. Now he's gone to Chelsea. Chelsea are now playing this technical style of football, and he's not succeeding.
Chelsea aren't playing the technical style of football.
What are they playing then? What are they playing? They're not. What are they playing?
They're playing possession, mate.
They've got all players in their team. That's the whole point of what they're doing now.
I was making. I didn't say Vitinha is 25 at Wolves. I said he's 25 now. I said he's 25 now.
So what? You said Vitinha.
Man was telling me he was a young buck in the Premier League. He was 20 years old in the Premier League. He was 20 years old.
Can I throw my 2 pence in here? Look, first and foremost, I think it's difficult with Vitinha because he was 20 years of age when he was at Wolves, right? So it's really difficult.
Ruben Neves in front of him and João Matinho, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So it's like, how good was he? Was he better than them? But it's difficult to say. But some players, some players get better as they get older. And I think Vitinha is definitely one of them. I think the problem with someone like Jadon Sancho is Jadon Sancho was hyped up from a very, very young age. We do it loads. Look how many people in the chat will find an 18-year-old playing now who's got 4 goals in 25 games and go, this boy's a baller. He's generational. All of that stuff, right? Sancho, for me, is a decent winger that doesn't have any standout qualities, that has shown glimpses of what he could have been, could have done. But there's a long line of wingers like Sancho throughout the Premier League era that have been talked about as a young player. They're going to be absolutely brilliant, but they never really progressed past that quick, exciting player to actually give output. And I don't just mean goals and assists. I mean the actual output where you go, yeah, that's the go-to guy to give the ball to. There's loads of them. You look at even to a degree, someone like a Stuart Downing, a Sean Wright-Phillips and Adam Johnson. A lot of these people are raved about. Then when they plateau out to be average, no, he's a good player. He's decent. When they plateau out to be a decent player, we all go, oh, they flopped. Maybe they just weren't as good as what everyone.
I just think I'm not even saying that Sancho is, as I said, he's like the best thing since last.
He's not dead, but he's just not suited.
My point is that I think the Sancho thing is forced. Like it's just like it's just mad forced as to someone that we know is supremely talented, but again, because he's not fulfilling his talent, I understand it. I'm not saying he's better than X, Y, and Z, but I'm just saying, like, people love to talk about Sancho being a nothing footballer. As I said, D, you need to take a look at your own camp when we're talking about spinning around and doing nothing footballers.
You keep changing the convo.
And man, them don't want to have that. Man, them don't want to have that conversation.
I've got
really don't want to have that.
I have a conversation about you've got one in your own team.
Let me finish. I've got a rebuttal for that.
Man, them don't want to have that conversation. And as I said, I've always said for me that boy needs to go central. I'm talking about Sancho, by the way. And we look at players, as I said, you were saying, Vitinha's an anomaly, bro. As I said, look at Brahim Diaz. You know what I'm saying? Look at Suso for Liverpool. Didn't get a game for Liverpool. Look. If we can even talk about Angel. You can even talk about Angel Gomez. Angel Gomez. He came into the England camp and was better than a lot of man, bro.
You keep making caveats. Yeah, for someone that has been at the two of the top clubs in England. So you're basically saying, wait, I'll let you finish. No.
When is the last time you had to finish?
I'll let you finish. Wait. I'll let you finish. I'm not asking another question. I'll let you finish. What I'm saying is, you've gone from saying it suits a different league. Now, when you went Man United, it's about a different manager. Now you're at Chelsea, it's a different style because they're not technical enough. You're doing every single caveat for a player when he's had every single version of what he needs to have to show us what he's got. Now you're saying he needs to go back to Dortmund. So he can only thrive in that one setting.
I didn't say they necessarily back to
Dortmund. You say he doesn't suit the Premier League, you said?
You literally sat here and told me the Premier League. You sat here and told me that you alluded to the point that he hasn't performed in the big games in the Champions League stage, which is false.
Who are you talking about?
Sancho. When I spoke about Grealish. Now, when I'm talking about when you're saying, he's played for two of the top 2 teams, when is they're big in name. When have Chelsea and Man United finished in the top 2?
Oh, bro, let's be serious, bro.
No. The level of Chelsea and Man United.
Serious. It doesn't matter.
I'm not saying that's the reason. No. I'm just saying, by the way. So don't act like these little players scintillating football at the top of the league because they weren't. Big in name only.
You're at 2 of the top teams in the country. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that.
But shouldn't you elevate a team a little bit more as well? I think Man United was I think that's fair.
I don't know.
Fair,
there's a lot of players that haven't elevated Man United.
Chelsea, I would say he's lacking a striker. But
he's the one who calls him J-Mo, you know. We don't call him J-Mo.
Yeah. My whole thing is about the Ødegaard.
I'm not saying. Go on.
I was going to say the difference is, for me, as much as Ødegaard can be frustrating, he actually adds to the team regardless, like the way the team operates and plays. For me, Sancho don't. But you say Sancho needs to be centrally, but I don't think unless he's got certain characters behind him, I'm not too sure. I haven't really seen it in it. But I just think I just think he's suited to another league, and I just don't think
I agree. But I think people are thinking I'm saying that Sancho there's nothing wrong with his performances this year. I'm literally saying Sancho has flattered to deceive, especially in the last three months for Chelsea, 4 months even. He started the season very well. And then he's plateaued, like what Savas said. He's plateaued and it's kind of gone to that kind of level again that Manchester United fans were obviously saying about him when he was at Manchester United. But the excuse for at Manchester United was that, you know, Man U are shit. No one can do anything at Man United. So now he's at Chelsea. He's going to look ultimately better, kind of thing. As I said, I just think the Sancho thing's just forced. That's
forced
by
you.
I think it's warranted.
You're the one forcing it on J-Mar. That's you.
I said
it's what I think is warranted.
I gave you Grealish as an example. Your energy is completely different.
Yeah, but the difference is, the difference with Grealish here is like for me, Grealish has been poor, definitely in my opinion as well. He hasn't applied himself certainly as well. Maybe, but the guy's 30. This guy's 30 years old now, and he was a pivotal part in them winning a treble. By the way,
yep. Excuse me.
Yes, bro.
Man. Because he was European games.
He was his go. Hang on, months. He was his go-to guy. He was playing more from
but the difference is, Grealish would be where he was, and he would absolutely create enough space where Gundogan always used to attack that left hard space.
If it was the stretch, he was involved, but pivotals you're going too far.
Yeah, because he's not the GA guy, but people need to with Grealish.
Maybe that's because they've got quality all over the pitch, but.
But the thing with Grealish is, I suppose it depends what he's been molded into. Is what do you want from him as a player? And when I say what do we want from him as a player, it's what does Pep want from him as a manager? And Pep wanted him as a player that holds the ball up, doesn't lose possession, drags the team up the pitch, wins free kicks, brings others into the game, creates space. Now, as fans, all we do is go GA. Now, he's not. The last year and a half, it's not been the same. But Jack Grealish for two years at Man City was pivotal with Pep. He was always called upon in the big games. Yeah, always. Because he offered something very different to what was going on the other side. Listen, again, though, Jack Grealish, people are doing that thing. Why can't anyone just turn around and go, yeah, Jack Grealish was a very good player. Now he's dropping off. There's nothing wrong with that. The debate doesn't always need to be, is someone absolutely shit or are they brilliant? Like, don't like.
No, but D. So are you saying Sancho shit then? Or what are you saying?
I'm saying.
I'm asking you what you're saying.
You're doing the tribal thing.
I'm not doing tribal because Sancho has no affiliation to Liverpool. So as I said, what I'm asking you now, do you think he's shit? Because I haven't said that Sancho's the best thing since sliced bread. What I've said is that he needs to leave the Premier League and he's plateaued at Chelsea. So if you're not agreeing with me, because you want to act like I'm saying something else here.
No, he's not shit. He's just not honest. Again, I don't think he's physical enough. I don't think he's physical.
I'm waiting for your answer.
Oh, go on, D.
No, you got mute his mic.
Yeah, I did.
Do you just think like I'm struggling to know what your argument is because I said
you don't know my argument because you've been talking for 5 minutes, so you don't know my argument. So if you I can't.
Now you're being silly.
No, I'm being serious. I'm saying
because I said he needs to leave. I said he needs to leave the league, innit? So
that's what I'm saying. You're saying that he has to have everything perfect for him to succeed, and I'm saying he's had multiple opportunities to show what he can create. You're the one who calls him J-Mar, which means that you think that I don't know what that J-Mar reference is. Can't be Neymar. So I'm assuming
you're focusing on that too much, bro.
No, I'm saying he's not
talking about this thing.
He hasn't succeeded. He's asking me a question. What do I think is crap? He's not a crap player. He's got talent, but talent doesn't mean anything. There's so many players that have got talent. What difference does it make?
Did I not wait? Was that not the first thing? The first thing I said is that he's supremely. I think he's supremely talented, but he's not direct enough in this league. That's the first thing I said. He's not direct enough.
Yeah, not direct enough, and not physical enough either.
I don't know what's
his standout quality as a player. Like, if I was to say to you, we're bringing on Jadon Sancho because he does
this.
What's the X factor?
He's dribbling.
His vision's crazy. His vision's crazy.
You're telling me Sancho can't dribble? Is that what you're telling me?
He can dribble, but the question he asked you was, what is his standout quality?
Yes, dribbling is one of them. That is one of his standout qualities.
I'm passing backwards.
Yeah, that's not enough for me.
That's
not enough for me. It's not enough.
Yeah, and like Grealish too. To be fair, I didn't even see this. Sorry, Melly. Winning a treble is crazy. Not losing means a lot more in the Prem because of the point tally needed to win the league. Getting high 80, 90 points used to not happen every year. Pep and Klopp therefore changed expectations, which is a fair point. This is what I hate. Grealish is 100 million with white privilege. Allow it. When Sancho has cost a combined 97 million. Crazy, isn't it?
Sancho,
You got to remember, these players don't decide.
He's a different level. He's a different level.
These players don't set the price tag. Like this whole Jack Grealish being 100 million, right? Jack Grealish, let's be fair, at the end of his career, right? Whatever anyone wants to say about Jack Grealish is going to say, well, the best manager in the world at the time bought me. Yeah.
£100 million price tag.
Every game.
100 million for his club.
Liverpool in winning the treble. I've won everything at Man City. That man's going to retire and go, what a bloody good career. It's only us as football fans that want to pick out the bones of everything that they can't do. If Pep, who arguably, debate, arguably the greatest manager of all time, arguably, you know, we can have that debate another day. If Pep Guardiola goes and buys you for 100 million and plays you in a team that then goes on to win the treble, surely something he's seen is better than what we will debate about. Surely,
I hear you. I just think I think Sancho in that Man City team doesn't do too much less than maybe a Grealish.
But he doesn't hold the ball up the way Grealish does. More. This is the
Grealish is way more physical.
Grealish is stronger, physical, wins free kicks. He'll carry the ball, but not just running in a straight line. Grealish is
cleverer. He's cleverer.
Wandering over to the left-hand side with a ball. You can see him waiting for other players to come and join him in. He'll sell his defender, take down. Now Man City have a free kick. Everyone gets up the pitch. I don't think Sancho. They're different types of players, but for me, Sancho,
can we mention the biggest part as well? We mentioned the biggest part as well. Grealish has to play against the low blocks week in, week out. Sancho actually has room to maneuver and thrive as well at the same time. If we want to make it more fair and balanced in that regard. So he has to be the one that has to pick out whatever. It's not easy.
Either way, I think they're cut from the same cloth, innit?
A little bit. I hear what you're saying.
They're more talented than what
I think there's levels to this month.
They're both
levels to this.
That's fine. We don't always have to agree on everything. Man, and I agree on everything. But like I said, I think when I say cut from the same cloth, I'm not talking about the exact same level of quality. I'm just saying they're cut from the same cloth as where the talent they have has been watered down by the system they've played in.
I agree with you on that. I think Grealish is a better footballer than Sancho, though, overall. I think Grealish.
Yeah, I don't think that's a crazy argument. I wouldn't disagree with you on.
Yeah. I agree with what you're saying. They both. Sancho for me would have been amazing in the old school 4-4-2. For me, as an out-and-out winger that wants to get the ball, wants to beat men, I think that is where Sancho would have thrived. Now. The problem you've got is you're going to look at those players, we said earlier, the two that play either side of the striker as wide forwards. All we do is look at them and go, he's had a crap season. He's only got 7 GA. Whereas the manager might be looking and going, you know what? He's only got 7 GA, but do you know what he allows our left back to do? Do you know what he allows our inside? I'm just trying to throw another way of looking at it, right?
Yeah. Anyways, we've got another show going on. Big up everyone. Saba's second channel is in the pinned. It's not just Tottenham, so don't be lazy. Go all subscribe there, please. It's actually doing quite well at the moment. It's international break. Please smash the likes as much as possible. Not just on this stream, but any stream that you want to tune into today or till next week. It's going to be difficult for content creators. So please just smash the likes anywhere you go. So big up to everyone. This is going to go over to Famzone TV where you find myself. I'm going to Dean and D, are you on as well?
Jumping in.
I wasn't jumping in, but I can.
You are now.
There we go then. Well, you are now. We are now.
Look at Mods. He's talking, Mods.
No.
You can bring over. You can bring over there,
bro. As I said, bro. I wanted to have a conversation about Erdegaard, but obviously,
we can continue over it.
Yeah. All right. I was going to say,
I've got to go on Rance's thing in a bit, but yeah. But go on.
All right. Let's go.